Hey everybody, Icy Cat here. Season 2 brings along a couple of new operators for us, and we're going to start by taking a look at the first new one, the Defender VALKYRIE. Her camera system will help you make sure that you've got eyes on the enemy team at all times. So let's go in depth with her operator profile next. VALKYRIE is the newest Defender added to Rainbow Six Siege along with the Dustline content for Season 2. She has a couple of excellent primary weapons. The first up is going to be the SIG MPX submachine gun. This thing is very accurate, recoil control is very solid and stable, good amount of ammunition to work with. This is just a headshot machine. The shotgun is her alternate primary weapon, and the SPAS 12 has a lot of power and an excellent rate of fire, pretty much as fast as you can pull the trigger, and this thing is a beast. Her secondary weapon is also pretty heavy duty. It's the 50 caliber Action Express Desert Eagle. There is a reason that in real life they call this thing a hand cannon, because it definitely is. It has recoil that is just through the roof. In fact, that's where most of your shots will be landing if you spam the trigger on this thing. You're gonna have your shots all over the place. Double taps are certainly doable, but anything more than 3 or 4 shots rapidly fired, you're gonna be all over with your accuracy. In addition to having very heavy recoil, it also has a pretty low ammunition count. I mean, those are some big bullets in that magazine. However, it does offer up substantial damage when firing on a target. Her choice of secondary gadgets are going to be either the Nitro Cell or the deployable shield. I'm going to recommend the Nitro Cell. They've really made it a more effective tool now in the latest update, and combined with the use of the camera network she deploys, it's now much more of an effective trapper's tool. Now, as I just mentioned, she has the ability to deploy a camera network. That is VALKYRIE's special ability. She can throw out 4 of the Black Eye deployable camera systems. These are sticky cameras. They will adhere to a surface when you throw it at it. They do have some mechanics when you lob them that you need to be aware of. When you throw them and your reticle is situated on a wall, you're going to sometimes find that it's not landing where you think it will. The further out you have to throw that, the more off that's going to be. You have to aim way higher than your intended target if you're throwing it out at significant distances. This is something you've just got to kind of learn how it plays. As you get used to the character, you'll get a feel for what that range is and how high you might need to aim. These cameras plug right into the Defender network of cameras that are built into the maps already. So when you're viewing these on the camera screen, you can see that the built-in cameras show as the white dots, and the added ones that VALKYRIE throws out show up as these other blue dots. When the cameras are shot out, they get that little red X through them, so you know that that camera is offline and out of the network. And whereas you have the built-in cameras on the maps that are black and white and have limited mobility, VALKYRIE's cameras have a blue filter on them, but they're full color, so you can still discern, full color that you're seeing just has this blue tint on it. It has a much wider field of view. You can really see an entire room. It kind of distorts it a little bit, but that's just what a wide angle camera lens will do. And that allows you to see the entire room much more so than the standard cameras would. The other main difference between her cameras and the default ones are that the built-in cameras have this red light whenever the camera is in use, and her cameras have a blue light instead that just kind of helps set them apart from the other ones. You can still spot the enemy on these cameras. They're no different in that regard, although that is the one significant drawback to her deployable camera system, is that you can put these cameras in excellent spots and you can use them appropriately by using only verbal callouts, but it only takes one teammate that's not using their mic or their head, and they will start spamming the ping on the camera, and it will tell the attackers to, hey, turn around and look for the camera. They'll see the big bright blue light and they'll shoot it out and it's gone. So I will say, when you are playing this game, if you are not VALKYRIE, don't go tagging on her camera system and get it shot out. The whole point of having deployable cameras is that the enemy does not know where they are. Now, I do understand that there is a time and a place for intentional tagging. Sometimes you can actually actively distract the enemy. When you tag them, they'll get that message popped up, they'll freak out, they'll turn around and try to look for the camera, and you can sometimes get a kill on them doing that by distracting them so that somebody else on your team can take advantage of that moment. And that can work, yes, but I would say 8 out of 10 times, what's going to happen instead of that distraction resulting in a positive team kill is that your camera is just simply going to be shot out and your team will no longer have the intel. So by all means, use it if you have to as a distraction technique. Otherwise, use your microphone, make verbal callouts, keep the gadget in play, because that's where it's at its strongest, when it's able to be viewed. Use your microphone and tell people he's in the top hall, he's at the bottom of the stairs, he's gonna come through the kitchen window. Use your microphone. One good tactic when throwing these is that you can actually throw them outside of the shell of the structure. However, you cannot do that during the preparation phase. So when you tear down a window or a door and you've got that red kind of force field sort of thing there, you can't throw the camera out. If you do, it'll actually just sort of bounce off of it and land on the floor. But once the preparation phase is over, then you can throw those cameras outside, and that can be very useful. There's some maps which are notorious for having window breaches. A good example of this would be on the upper floor of Hereford Base, or on some of the upper rooms in Clubhouse, and a few positions like that where you know the windows tend to be hot spots. And the first thing that the attackers will do is they'll shoot out the cameras so that you can't see their approach. But if you throw one of these out into an unexpected area, they're not going to know to go shoot it out. And as long as you're not tagging on it all the time, they're going to be completely unaware that you're observing them while they're setting up position, and you can shoot them through the window barricades or, you know, whatever it is you want to do. You can also use your camera system within the structure and set up traps that way. One new change to the nitro cells are that the radio frequency disturbance that they give off, that kind of like humming and popping that almost sounds like a Geiger counter, it's been reduced in such a way that basically the way it works is if there's an open area, you can hear it. If it's exposed to the direction you're facing, you can hear it. But if it's on the other side of a solid wall, even though you're right next to it, if it's on the other side of a solid wall, you'll hear nothing. Now, if there's a hole in that wall, you'll hear something. With barricades, you can hear it on the other side of a barricade, but it's been significantly reduced in audio, so if you're not paying attention, you could easily miss it. Since everyone's nitro cells have been sort of upgraded in that capacity, I think what they're trying to do is get them to be used more as a trap and less of a two-stage grenade like it was. So you set up these traps using the cameras and the nitro cells, and that way when you funnel them through certain choke points, you'll know that they're stepping into the area of effect of the detonation, you'll set it off, and you'll definitely get a good kill or two that way. Another handy thing to know about the cameras is that you can pick them back up again after they've been stuck to a surface. So, you know, say you throw this out and it goes into a position you think would be a really good area to cover, and then you check it out and you realize that it's just not giving you the kind of view that you wanted. So you can just walk back over to it and pick it up again. It's not a problem as long as it's close enough for you to reach. If you throw it up too high, then you won't be able to get it. But as long as it's close enough to reach, you will be able to redeploy that camera if you so choose. Now, Valkyrie is going to be directly countered by IQ. IQ's gadget has been reworked, and she can now see the outlines of the devices that she's scanning. She has a 20-meter range on them. She can see outlines clearly through walls and other obstructions, so she can hunt down Valkyrie's cameras whether they're in use or not. So that's going to be a direct counter operator to Valkyrie's camera system. The cameras can be shot out by Twitch's drone as long as it's within range. You can, of course, throw these cameras high enough that it's out of range of her drone taser. You can also short these cameras out by use of Thatcher's EMP grenades. They will take them offline just like any other camera. Here I'm doing a little test with Blitz, flashing the camera to see if Valkyrie is affected while she's monitoring it at all. There's no side effect for her on that. It's just she can see the flash. She can tell that I've set off a flash, but it doesn't like flood the camera and make it so that you can't see what's going on. It really doesn't do anything at all. So flashes don't affect the camera operator in any way while they're viewing the cameras. One thing you do need to be a little bit careful of is that you don't destroy your own teammates' cameras if you're not Valkyrie. For instance, if you're putting up a reinforced wall and Valkyrie has already placed a camera on that wall, when the wall pushes all the way to its full height, if there's an intersection, you will destroy that camera. So be aware of that. I've had some people comment that 4 cameras seems like it's a bit too much for this character. People have asked me, do I think that that makes her overpowered? No, not at all. 4 cameras I think is a really good amount. First of all, it's good to have 1 or 2 extra ones to work with because of bad throws. If you're throwing these on the exterior of the building, you know, you just want to get a good line on anybody that might be camping windows or things like that, and you toss them out. Some of your throws are going to be bad tosses because you can't aim with any sort of precision. You have to aim like way higher than you'd think you would if you want to throw it out a very far distance. You can pretty much precision plant these things up close, but once you get way out there, you're going to have to aim like way crazy higher than you think you would, and then you don't know where that camera's going to land. And it can land in some really useless spots, so you might have to try to throw another one again to get anything usable out of that. So it's kind of nice to have that like backup amount of cameras to work with. Furthermore, IQ gives you the balance that even if you have like 10 cameras going with your default ones plus the added ones that she throws out, IQ can just kind of come in there and pick out where they all are and shoot them all out right away. so there's a balance to it. Then you combine that with the fact that they have the giant blinking blue light on them, just like the cameras have the red lights. And then you've got the "you've been spotted" message, plus other people can get your camera shot out by tagging on them. And, you know, you wind up with an operator that may seem like she has a lot of cameras to work with, but there's a wide variety of situations where the camera will either be quickly rendered useless by a bad throw, or it gets shot out because somebody's tagging on it, or they see the giant blue light, or, you know, IQ comes in and just rolls through all of your cameras. There's a lot of reasons why the cameras can be taken out quickly or just rendered useless. So I think that having 4 is a good amount for her to have. I mean, imagine how frustrating it would be if you only had, say, 2 of these things, and one of your throws was a bad toss, and then you only wound up having like 1 viable camera to work with. I think 4 is kind of an optimal amount for that reason. My overall opinion of Valkyrie is that she's an excellent addition to the defending roster. Her ability is, frankly, invaluable. I wouldn't say it's exactly a must-have, but it can really be a game changer. Overall, this is a very solid character, and she's not too overpowered because IQ is a direct counter-operative to her and can render her network of cameras obsolete by shooting them out as soon as she sees them. So there's a good balance that's maintained there. This makes Valkyrie a great new addition to the operator lineup for the Defenders. Well, that wraps up this operator profile. Next, we're going to take a look at Blackbeard and see how his gadget changes the game. Now, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest news and information for Rainbow Six Siege. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.